Welcome back to our channel. I'm Christian.
And I'm Derek.
And this is Stitching with Fortnight Fabrics.
Yay.
So excited to be here.
I think today's video is going to be on the shorter side because we essentially just have our stitching to show.
Essentially.
We don't have anything else planned, and we have like 2 reminder updates at the end. So there's not going to be a whole lot.
But get your stitching and a drink anyways.
We're looking at a 20-minute video here.
Speaking of drink, we had a baffling moment this week.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we planned to talk about this, but I'm a little tripped up at your leeway then.
I just started thinking about it.
You were like, speaking of drink, I was like, how formal of you. I know what you're talking about. So we watch a lot of like plant tubes. So, you know, there's Flosstube, but then there's a lot of like houseplant YouTubes. And one of them we were watching. And for the Canadians watching this, you're going to be like, duh. But one of the people we watch is Canadian, and
Kevin.
And yeah, his channel is Hakuna La Planta. And anyways, he's doing a video every day of the month of December. And he's not just doing plant videos, he's doing a bunch of like baking videos to like
make content.
To make content basically, because he just went full time as a YouTuber. He was a nurse. And anyways, so in one of the videos he was baking, and he was using milk, because you use milk or cream in a lot of baking. I don't remember which one he was making, probably. And he was like, and I'm using 3.25% milk. And I was like, what is that? And I knew he was Canadian, so I was like, how many different milks do they have up there?
We have 1, 2, skim, which is 1,
and whole.
Like,
and so I looked it up. 3.25% milk is what we call whole milk in the United States.
Mine completely.
So they don't say whole milk, they just give the percent, which makes sense because you go 3.25, then 2, then 1. So why would you change it? Then I started thinking how much of a scam we are in the United States. Like, so growing up with my dad, we always got 2% milk.
That's what I grew up with.
We don't drink milk in our house anymore. We drink either, well, he drinks almond milk and I get oat milk, and because you know we're millennial swine. And
like cows.
But anyways, it feels like such a scam to get 2% milk because we call it whole milk, and then you think you're saving so much by doing 2% milk. You're only saving a percentage in a little 1.25%.
I was like, it's already low. Like,
my mind was blown because I assumed whole milk was like 20%. So much fat, and the 2%. It's a scam. It is a scam. But I thought that's funny because it's labeled like that in Canada.
So that was our awakening for the week.
So if you get whole milk in your household, it's 3.25.
3.25% now.
I googled all this. I learned it. I was into it. Anyways,
I was just too shook to do anything.
It was an enlightening moment we had this week. But we'll get into stitching now because y'all don't care about milk, probably.
Don't care about milk.
Although some people are going to be like, I know all the Canadians are going to get like, on the comments and be like, yeah.
Hi, Christine and Shannon.
We're more advanced.
Yes, indeed.
So I have 1 new start and then 2 whips.
I just have 3
and you
whips.
have 3 whips. So I will start with my new start. So so I'm back to week 1 of my 3-week rotation. And in week 1, I told you that I swapped one for every week, like we were trying to up our game, so to speak. And so this week's switch was the flower category for the Carolina Classic. I was doing my sad little one-stemmed sunflower, and I switched the flower category. And so what I did, so I downloaded the pattern, a PDF, onto my phone. We're recording on that, so I just had Christian bring up the Google image. It's from Autumn Lane Stitchery. It is called Serena Sprout. And he'll show it. We have to move out of the way so it'll be clear.
If it would scroll up, there we go.
Do you see her? She's gorgeous.
Super flowery.
Keep holding her there.
Okay.
So hopefully it's clear on the screen. So if you see at the top of her, there's that swirl of green with the blue flowers. That's what I stitched this week.
Yes.
And I'm doing her on 18 count, Ada. And I did not go with the green background as was suggested. It is gorgeous. I went with Incredible.
Yes.
Which is a mauvey pink color. And this is my work so far. I'll open it so it just hides us.
Yeah, that
it's
works.
wrinkly. I don't care.
Isn't it so good?
So that's what I've done.
That is incredible, Derek.
That is incredible. Thank you. Oh, I didn't serge this fabric before I started stitching. We should do that the next time the serger comes out. I'll take it and go serge it.
In like an hour.
So no, there's no work today. It's stitching. So that's how much I have done, and I like it. So this one is still, it's, you know, Autumn Lanes, they're a little more whimsical. They're not so serious of ladies, and I love that. And
from experience, you can win ribbons at the state fair on this pattern.
he did win his second place
Pick your poison.
ribbon for an Autumn Lane Pick Your Poison. That is not why I chose this, though. I wanted a flower, but I didn't want to do, if you look up a lot of flower patterns, they're very serious,
They're very
bouquets and
like,
stuff. I wanted something fun, something different, and this witch with the flowers.
She
I don't know how
nails
I'm going to FFO it. I mean, I'm going to get everything for the fairs this year framed. And, but this one is not, I don't need like a serious frame for this. I need to go with that vibe.
That very light, fluffy vibe.
Oh, one of the purples will be good. Or I can matte it. I don't know if I would matte this one because I feel like matting makes it more serious.
Formal.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. We talk about this a lot while we're stitching, what our final look's going to look like. Like my fairy that I showed last week, I have her completely finished in my mind. Gorgeous.
Whether or not the framer can do it shall be determined.
So that was my change for the flower category and my new start. Should I just keep going with my whips and then you go?
Go ahead. You actually had so much progress this week. I am like,
I don't have that much progress. They're not big
can keep
pieces.
up.
So my first whip, it is the top one there. It is the village that I'm doing up there. Prairie Schooler. The pattern is called Harvest Time. Oh, this is dirty. But I'm doing the top one that says, it's just called the village. And also, I looked it up. We were looking at patterns because we're still tweaking and making sure everything we're doing for the fair is perfect for our liking, or the fairs that we're entering.
It's actually semi-stressful.
There's a thing, like they have the same village in all the seasons, and I didn't know that. But I'm doing the Harvest Time, the fall ones. And last time on this pattern, hopefully you can see it, I had done the side, like just straight border, and the roof of the barn.
Yes.
So here. And this time I finished the barn and the tree below it and the trees above, and this is what it looks like.
Is that on Winter Forest?
It's on Winter Forest. I don't know how well Winter Forest is going to show up on screen because Winter Forest is like tan with slight blues. I set the pattern, and I don't even know if you noticed that, but the blue is at the top for the sky. I found a piece to kind of do it. So that's how much I got done. So
That's a lot.
I just had the roof and this line, so I filled in all that, did the trees, and did that.
It looks really good. I'm so
And I
impressed
doubt
with that
you can see
progress.
that. So that is my progress on the village. And then also in this rotation is, okay. I had this one for wildlife, and then I realized on film, on the video, Christian kept saying, or you could do bird, and it was never clicking with me. And I understand these creatures are birds, right?
They have beaks and wings.
So I'm not
Feathers.
obtuse to that fact. However, these birds, I just kept saying, they're wild birds. This is wildlife.
Not domestic birds.
And it's because bird just made me think of parakeets and all that. So now, I'm not changing the pattern, but I'm going to put this in the bird category because it finally clicked that they are birds.
Very that.
And even though they're wildlife. Anyways, it was funny. It might be a more inside
It's also
thing
because
for
we're in
us.
North
but
Carolina, we have wild turkeys. So you
turkeys
probably
just
were
made
thinking,
me,
like,
think
deer,
they were wild.
Wolves, bears,
Yeah, they were wild. In
they go
Florida,
into
there were
that
wild
category.
turkeys too.
Yeah, there were.
And so I was thinking bird like the ones that fly, and turkeys are on the ground. But anyways, the pattern is Plum Street Samplers Gobble Gob. Now this is not one of the most extravagant fair pieces that I'm doing, and I get that. Let me take it out because that was probably all glare.
But his stitches.
I am making my stitches pretty perfect on this. It is over 2 on 32 count.
Yes.
And I am going for a third place for this one. I can imagine that some people are doing some really amazing birds, but you never know. I have planned how I'm going to finish this one, and I'm going to be done with it. So this first week rotation of my 3, it comes up twice this month.
Yes.
So I will finish this one I'll start again on the 21st because then I'll be back on this week, and so I'll finish it. But let me show you my progress. I can just open it all the way.
Look at those turkeys, y'all.
So I have the little turkeys stacked. I have all the so what I had before was the corn and these 2 flowers. So what I've done this time is the turkey stack, the flowers down here, and now I'm filling in the mound. I went ahead and did these flowers first because
he was going ham sandwich with the green.
I had to frog the green because I wasn't skipping properly. So I was like, I need to just go ahead and put the flowers in and then I can fill in.
Yeah.
So that will be finished later this month, and this will be my first fair piece that gets finished.
It's glorious. It's stitching up bigger than what I thought it was going to look like.
And it is not a very big piece, but I think a big part of the judging for fairs is the finish. And I have picked not the color of how I'm getting it framed or the matting. This one will have matting. I'll tell you my idea. I'm going to do a double frame. So I want an inner frame with the matting, and then an outer frame. It'll make it look more substantial. Here comes the Amtrak, yay.
On time.
And I think it's going to be really pretty. What I'm having a difficult problem with is my fabric's gray, and then the turkeys are these greenish grays, and then green. So I don't know what color I want the actual frames to be.
I think maybe brown.
So maybe, but then you know why I don't want to do brown is because this is framed. Like the border is framed in black.
Okay. Derek has something against brown and black touching.
And so I'm pretty sure I would get like a dirty one of these greens, match that for whatever that matting is, but I don't know what color I want the frame to be. If you have any suggestions, let me know.
I think that would look good.
Because I looked up that, and I hope that makes sense. There'll be a frame that's tight on it. Then there's the like matting, and then an outer frame.
So it'll make it more substantial.
And so that matting, I'll probably pick a shade of greenish gray that matches all the green and gray in here. But I don't know what color I want the actual frame.
Well, we'll go and we'll search through all the frame colors and just sit it next to them.
I know. Maybe y'all comment down below what you think I should do.
What color frame do you think the turkey should
Because I do want to walk in there with an idea. I don't want to walk in there and say, I have no idea. Pull every 500 frame moldings you
Just have like a start point. That would be good. Yeah, those are really cute though.
Anyways, that was my progress for this week.
Officially birds.
He convinced me. Like I realized they were birds, but it just wasn't clicking that there's a category for. I just wasn't putting turkeys as birds.
I get it. It's okay.
I don't know how to explain how my mind went. Whatever.
They're still birds.
That's my stuff for this week, and now I will be starting my week 2 rotation after this
Which I'm
video.
excited for because you have another new start, and I'm ready to see that. So for whips, I have my 3 because I split all of my projects. I'm trying to get into a rotation.
So he's creating it. He's joining week 1 with me, even though last week he was not in a good rotation.
I wasn't, and now like projects, all my plans have changed. So get ready for that.
But not your projects, you're just moving
I'm
stuff.
moving things, yeah. So this is Teresa Kogut's Pet All the Dogs. This is going into the samplers category at the Carolina Classic.
That's unchanged. You were always doing
This is still the same. There's the pattern. I really love this. And
I think you got a lot of progress on this.
I did get some progress on this thing.
What did you do?
So the last time I had just the tree and like the motifs next to that first tree, like here. So I did this tree, the cats, and these little motifs over on this side. So yeah, that is my progress on that. This is on 32 count Lugana Stinkhorn, I want to say. Yeah. And I'm doing the call for colors except for 613, I think it called for, and I'm doing 612 because I couldn't find the 613. And then we found it in one of Derek's projects bags, but it's okay.
I'm a floss stealer.
He steals all the things, and like we have most of them bobbinated. So once they go
that's
away
the
from
thing.
box,
That's the thing. I don't want to keep going back to look for it, so I put it with the project I'm using.
Actually, pretty decent. I'm excited.
I think it's going to stand up well in the sampler category.
I think this is the Oh, no, Triton is probably closer. But
So in
I'm
the
gonna finish it
sampler
very
category
soon.
at the Carolina Classic, they put that separate from all these other things.
Yeah.
And the prize for that one is like double than the prize money that goes to these.
They pay you at this one. I'm like, okay.
They pay you at the North Carolina State Fair too.
Yeah, it's like the Mountain State Fair. I don't know if they do.
Oh, I stitched
look.
all for the Carolina Classic this week. Did you?
That one is. This one is not.
No.
And this one is.
Okay.
So this was a change. So I will show this one.
The pattern is the same, but you moved the
Yeah,
category.
I moved the category. So this one was going to the beach category at the Carolina Classic, and now it's going for my Ada entry at the State Fair.
Because why? Because he picked another one to do for the State Fair, which he's not going to show you because it just got here yesterday. And he's going to stitch on it this week. It's gorgeous, and I love it.
So now Triton is going to the beach category at the Carolina Classic. And
Oh, it's because to do this one at the State Fair, there's two reasons.
yeah.
We'll tell him next week the reasons for it.
Okay.
But I'm excited. It's
I'm
gorgeous.
super happy. So this is Gypsy Mermaid by Nora Corbett. You see that there? So the last time I was where I finished this little west side over here with the little seahorse. And this time I went ahead and started in on her body. I had like one of the colors done. This is on 16 count Ada. This is one of our old
This was
colors.
This was before Fortnight Fabrics.
Yes, this is before surging happened. So this is where she's at now. So you can see I did her body here and filled her in. The gaps are there because I don't have the Karen water lily that I need. And then some of that's beading, I believe. So she has some gaps, but I've finished the majority of her body to the tail. So I'll do the tail in the next rotation when she comes back up.
I've got to call them today. So needlepoint.com, is that what it's called?
Yeah, needlepoint.com.
They're in Raleigh.
They're like
Their actual
20 minutes
store
from
is
here.
in Raleigh. So I want to call them and see if they have Karen water lilies, so we can just go pick them up if they
Because
have
we need
them.
a lot.
We both need a lot.
I was looking at it, I was like, good Lord, I have so many. So yes, this is Gypsy Mermaid now going to the State Fair in North Carolina in Ada, which she'll be done soon also because all I have left is the tail and the little south part and then beading and we'll be done. I'm so happy. I was supposed to finish her last year, so now I feel like I'm like having vindication for actually getting her done.
We're doing good this year.
Progress is great. And then my last whip is, so I was stitching the Alice in Wonderland by Satsuma Street, and that was going to go for children in nursery. I'm going to finally have my way on something, and I'm going to submit Ella the Frog Princess instead.
I still want to say my vote is for the other one, but I told him to do what his heart desires.
It's because, well, we didn't tell them we're not doing the Mountain State Fair now. And this was going to the Mountain State Fair.
I was going to tell them next week when we talked about the Mountain State Fair.
Well, there you go. Well, the cat's out of the bag now.
We decided to not do the Mountain State Fair. We're just going to do the North Carolina. We're not dropping the amount of pieces.
No.
We just don't want to drive 4 hours there, 4 hours back, and do that 3 times.
In a month. And that's
It
a
would
lot.
really be in a week and a half.
Yeah.
Because we'd have to
We've already done that
drive to
once.
drop it off. Then we would, of course, drive the opening day to see if we
Just to
won.
see.
And then we have to drive to pick it up.
Yeah.
We'll do that another year.
Yeah,
It
it's
also
just not in the
sucks because you
cards.
can only submit one thing there.
Yep. So not worth it.
So we just added a category to the Carolina Classic, so you'll see next
So you'll
week.
see next week what that is. So this one is, like I said, Ella the Frog Princess. This is on 32 count Lugana Santa Rita Charm. Oh, hold on. My
You
needle
use
minders.
so
are-
many needle minders.
Well, it's because I have the pattern and then and this is where I've gotten so far. So I filled in these little white parts here, the white parts all down here, and I'm working my way back up to fill in all of this. And then there's a flower motif that goes like this way. It's like a whole little ribbon.
What is all this? I'm looking from the back.
Beads.
The whole thing is beads.
Yeah, that's beads.
That's a lot of beads.
I think Karen Water Lilies.
Oh, there's some more floss
Yeah.
that goes. Because
But
I'm like, that's like
that's a little
100
headdress.
stitches by itself.
So this is where I'm at so far. Her dress
Maybe
is
like 60.
really coming together. I'm so happy. I love the frog too. I think he's adorable.
So you're doing this for children in nursery?
Yes.
I still think the Alice in Wonderland one would win, but your
It
heart,
would, but I mean, it
Your-
would compete. But I think this seals it for
it's
me. It's my journey.
So inside of me, I'm like, I hope he doesn't ribbon, and I'm be like, I was right.
Yeah, you should have taken the Alice in Wonderland.
No, I think it's beautiful.
I love this piece, and I've been working on it forever, and I feel like y'all want to see her done, so I'm finishing her. It's also for my own liking because I really like
You
this
need
piece.
to do it for yourself.
It was my first skin conversion too, so I'm really happy to see it come to fruition and be completed. So this is now my children in nursery at the Carolina Classic. So yeah, we both did stitch on all Carolina Classic this
I know,
week.
that's what I was saying.
I'm proud.
Oh, that's right,
That fair
because you
getting
moved
done.
her from the state fair.
For the Mountain State Fair, and then no, she's
Well, I was
going
talking about Gypsy.
to the State Fair now.
Oh, so it's not. So you
No,
did
I
you
moved
did
it.
one North Carolina State Fair and two
I'm so
Carolina
used to her
Classic.
being in the beach category.
We are nerds. We constantly sit around talking about this.
We do.
We're trying to do really good. Someone asked on the last video, they were like, what is different about competition stitching?
It's a lot more thought.
I think maybe it's just, it depends on who you are as a stitcher. For me, it's helping me set goals for stitching. For the actual stitching part of it, I think it's a lot more scrutinizing your work.
Yeah, like I will literally unstitch entire rows if I don't like the way it looks. When I look at it like this, I'll completely undo it and then restitch the
I
whole
think
thing.
for like, to be generalized to everybody, you're gonna scrutinize your work more and put more thought into it. But like, that would be the
Like-
generalized version. For me, is helping me make goals, and I'm slightly changing what I would usually stitch.
I'll say, it
So
makes me stitch bigger things, I feel like.
it is, or at least making me think about what would be a good thing to represent this.
Yeah.
Some people just stitch like that. Like some people already just stitch all the Mirabilias and all of that stuff, and so therefore they wouldn't be changing what their typical stitching is. But for me, I'm obviously changing a
the
lot.
Ornament man.
I'm changing a lot, so it's broadening my horizons. But I think as far as the actual stitching, we're going to talk about this a lot in that fabric video we're making, because the question came up a lot about floss counts to like fabric. I think for competition stitching, you think more about doing that the way it's, you know, intended to make the fabric and the floss work together amazingly. And I think it's a lot more like criticizing yourself, but in a good way. Like I frog more, not because I stitched it in the wrong place, but because I want to make it look better. Whereas if I'm stitching an ornament for my tree, I don't pay attention hardly. I'm just stitching and get done. And for me, that's, if you already stitch like that all the time, then there's going to be no difference. I mean, it's just, it takes it to a different kind of level of stitching for me.
It makes me feel like I'm competing in something. I don't know. It's like going to the Olympics, or if like you're in like a tournament or something where you want to like try your best. So it definitely gives me that.
But I don't think it's anything like extreme. I think, I know we keep talking about competitive stitching because that's what it is. We're stitching all for competition. I am this year. I'm stitching all for competition. However, I think it's more for me just goal setting.
Yeah, it makes it easier to have goals.
And I
you have a
also,
finish line in mind.
I criticize my stitching more, but not in a detrimental way. Like I'm not over here tearing myself
like
up
crying
about it.
about it.
It's not. It is still cross stitching at the end of the day. This is not a life-changing
Look
thing.
at these X's. They don't look right.
But I do like take my time with it more.
Yeah.
For instance, on over 2 stitching, I spend a lot more time laying both legs very flat and, you know, like this.
Oh.
Whereas like if I was, and if one is slightly off a little bit, I will unstitch that and make it look better. How if I was making like ornaments for my tree, like I don't think about that at all.
If it's twisted, nobody will know.
I literally don't care. So that's the difference, I would say.
I wash my hands a lot more, especially when I'm working with white floss. I'm up like every 10 minutes washing my hands because I don't like the white to get dingy when you get to the end. So I'll cut it like halfway through a piece.
When you were working on, you were finishing up your stitches on the Tiana, and you were getting off the couch like every 10 minutes, I swear to God, to wash your hands.
Because I don't want to.
And in my mind, until he told me what he was doing, because we weren't talking, we were just watching TV, and I was like, did he like cut garlic today or do something, and he can just keep smelling it and it's annoying him? I had no idea why.
Keep washing.
Also, I didn't care. I mean, that was a brief thought. I wasn't going to be like, why do you keep washing your hands?
My hands have been so dry, but they're lotioned. I'm
but he felt the
with
need to share later. He was
lotion.
like, and he's over here talking about, I don't like Christian. Christian has a theory.
Do I?
that his skin color transfers to white.
It's not a theory. It's a proven fact.
And like, so
I don't use white
I use
towels,
white towels,
white rags.
and he will not use white towels.
White sheets.
He won't use white sheets.
Nope.
Because he says he turns them brown, but because of his skin shedding off. And I'm like, maybe you're just dirty.
No, because it happens even when I'm freshly scrubbed.
Or maybe
like,
you
exfoliated
sweat. I
and
think you
everything.
sweat a lot, maybe.
I probably do.
But that doesn't have anything to do with towels.
But my stitching, I'm not sweating on my stitching.
I think it's funny because you're like, white
brown's
thread
gonna rub
gets
off.
dingy. No, he's like, my brown is rubbing off. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, your skin is not coming off.
It's a true fact. It happens. And I'm thankful for those grime guards because they save it now.
I do like using grime guards, and I will say,
Saves everything.
because I don't wash my hands every 10 seconds. In fact, sometimes I'm really bad about washing my hands before starting stitching, period. Like, I can just be having my day and I'll sit down and stitch. And grime guards really do. I can tell, because I'm using a Star Wars one, but it's white, and it is off-white now. It's kind of dingy.
Are you rubbing off, Derek?
No, I do not think. I think it's because my hands are dirty over time. I don't think I'm turning it.
I love this video for us.
Whatever color this is, pink.
Yes. Pink.
I think my hands are just dirty.
Fluorescent beige.
I don't know.
I can't. That's all the stitching I had.
Fluorescent light tan. So that's our stitching. Yeah. That's
Oh
it.
my
Short and
God.
sweet. Our reminder updates are
5 weeks.
Yeah, there's 5 weeks left until the Fortnight Fabrics Fair.
Those submissions are coming in, and they are so
They're
pretty.
so pretty. I love it.
I'm like, yeah, it gives me also inspiration for things to stitch in the future.
I love that people are like thinking about it differently too for each category.
Yeah, like people are thinking outside the box, which we
And
love.
so
Love that.
they're nice. I like it. So get those in, fortnightfabrics@gmail.com.
Yes.
Put fair in the subject, and there are
I think we put the
7
categories in the description box.
In the
too.
Facebook group, I also pinned them to the top, and then we're trying to put them in we're trying to remember to do
the
descriptions.
box. Yes.
And so there's
that
5
one-
weeks left for that. It's due 1/11/23, January 11th.
111.
And then our second reminder is just to go to fortnight-fabrics.com and sign up for Fabric of the Month for 2023.
Very that. I think there was a question about 46 count, but it's up there and it's open. So
Yeah, apparently it had marked it as sold out.
but
None of
it's
them
not
are sold
now.
out.
You can definitely get in there.
Which last video, I think I said something about they're not sold out. Okay, well it did say it.
It
so
did.
because someone had emailed about that.
But we fixed it.
And also in the Facebook group, if you get Fabric of the Month, there are approximately 33 or 34 of you that I messed up on this month, and so I put all your names on a post to explain that your fabric
It's coming.
has not even dyed yet. We're gotta dye it. There was a
I printed.
actually I
incorrectly.
put in the thing that we would talk about in the video, so I will. So we invoiced on October 26th
for November
for November, and
when I ran.
when
reports.
the report was ran, we went back to October 27th.
Yeah. So
And
everyone who
so
did it on
all the
26th
fabric that was actually paid for on the 26th, because the report does it by pay date,
Mm-hmm.
anything that was paid on the actual day we invoiced, that fabric didn't get dyed. Now on a separate report, we just go down and order that does not order it by date.
No.
It orders it
By
just by
amount.
fabrics and sometimes color, sometimes count. It's kind of confusing. Anyway, so the cluster about it is that there are people who paid on the 26th, but they are getting their fabric, while people who paid after, it doesn't. The two reports don't correlate. Anyways,
So we were packaging, and then we were like,
we
why
were
don't have
packaging,
this
but
fabric?
technically that wasn't your piece of fabric because the second report goes by like quarter of 32 count,
And how
hopeless
many you
romantic
have.
or something, and how many. And so, anyways, there's 33 of you, and it is the fabric from the 26th that was paid for that's missing. But that fabric ended up going to some people on the 26th.
27,
And anyway, so
15.
because I know like 33 of you, there's like, you're like, I didn't pay on the 26th, I know, but the fabric that technically you paid for went to someone else. It's a cluster. Anyways, I put all of the names
In our
of the
Facebook
people so that people are very aware, because I also know that there are some people who just haven't gotten their fabric, and that's just because of post office delays with
Yeah.
Christmas. That
But it's
has
coming.
It has nothing to do. So I put the name so you didn't have to worry if you're one. If your name's
If you're
not there,
not,
that's just a
then
post
you're
office issue at
Yeah.
this point.
Essentially. I think that was that.
And that's it. So if you're if that's a good reason to be in our Facebook group because
Absolutely.
I
That's
put
where
that
the updates
update
happen.
very, very open and honest about that. So we are we are dying it. It just takes a few days to get through. It takes a few days to get through. Yeah, we're doing it quickly in here, but it does take a little while. But your name is listed there if you were affected, and I hope that explanation kind of made sense.
Yes, so we're sorry in advance, but it is coming.
It's a cluster that we didn't even know we did, by the way. The reason that we're announcing this on December 7th is because someone emailed, and then looking up their order, we realized what we did. We had long forgotten about November's Fabric of the Month. And poor Christian. He gets stressed about this kind of stuff. He starts walking around, and I'm like, okay, it happened. We have to just, go through it. Because he was like, I was done with it. I was done. I was moving on to other stuff.
Like to get to the finish line and then realize you're not at the finish line, it's like a disheartening feeling, y'all.
I feel like it had been so long since the finish line, though. It just feels like a different week of work.
I'm just restarting now, so.
I was like, well, we just have to do it. And so I was making the post and then commenting on the post in real time.
This is happening in real life.
As he was figuring it out, because we figured it from an email.
Oh my God, all these people from the 26th, they're not getting it.
Well, they are.
Well,
it's the fabric. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's not people mixed from the 26th.
Yeah, because some people
because that's what my first post said, because that's what you told me, is people from the 26th. Yeah. No, it's the fabric that was paid for on the 26th, because the other report doesn't go in order of pay date.
So it will be to you very shortly.
As an example, if someone paid on the 26th for a 32 count Lugana quarter of Hopeless Romantic, and someone paid on November 1st for that, the report just goes in order of 32 count quarter Lugana. So by technicality, the 26 one should have gone first, and then last since we didn't dye the fabric that counted on that day. I don't know if this is making it worse.
We're explaining our explanation.
It's a cluster. It's hard to keep in my mind what happened.
It is.
And then it was looking like a cluster because I was typing in real time.
We've got it written down in like 3 different places. The people and
all that matters is we know whose fabric is missing, and sorry.
We're on it. Yes. There we go.
Although I am still going to stitch today too.
I am. So I think that's it.
Well, there's not much more we can do right now. So
yeah. No.
I'm also hungry, so let's go eat.
Okay.
I think we extended a video for 6 pieces of stitching way too long.
Content for content. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.